K-12 basic education program uses standards and competency-based grading system. So when we say grading system, we mean a system that educators use in a particular institution to evaluate each individual student's performance and learning. So in BEE-EGE, all grades are based on the weighted raw scores of the learner's summative assessments. So this summative assessment can be classified into three components, namely written works, performance tasks, and quarterly assessment. These three will be the basis for grading. The nature of the learning area defines the way these three components are assessed. So teachers in the basic education implementing the K-12 program use electronic class record in Excel format. So in this activity, we encounter various BEE-EGE forms and e-class records. We had the opportunities to examine and accomplish different forms, compute quarterly grades and final grades, and accomplish e-class records aligned with their specialization. So let's look first at how the grading system differed before and during the COVID-19 outbreak and how we compute grades in different subjects before proceeding onto the various school forms.
So as we can see, the right table shows the BEE-EGE Order Number 8, Section 2015 for the assessment before the COVID-19 pandemic. That is all about the ongoing process of identifying, gathering, organizing, and interpreting quantitative and qualitative information about what learners know and can do. While the left table shows BEE-EGE Order Number 031 Section 2020, that is the interim assessment and grading considering the basic education learning continuity plan during pandemic. The discrepancy in how the grades were calculated plainly displayed in this table. So let's now talk about how we compute the grades. As we look on it, the grading scheme was different before and after the pandemic, but the method of calculating the grade was the same. So BEE-EGE uses different ways or percentages in computing the grades in various subjects, and now let's pick one subject which we will use as an example to understand how the computation of grades works using the BEE-EGE Order Number 8 Section 2015.
Let's say that the subject we're handling is Araling Panlipunan, which has 20% in quarterly assessment, 30% in written works, and 50% in performance tasks. In computing the percentage score, or PS, you must divide the raw score by the highest possible score, then multiply the quotient by 100%. And to get the weighted average, you must multiply the percentage score by the percentage that is required for that subject. So let's start with the quarterly assessment, and let's get the percentage score first. Let's say learner A gets 16, and we will divide it by 50 on the HPS. And the answer that will come out is 0.32, which we will multiply by 100, and the answer we will get is 32. Next, we will find the weighted average by dividing 20% by 100 and multiplying the quotient by 32, and the weighted average we will get is 6.4. That's how we compute each assessment component. And to get the initial grades, we will just add a weighted average in all components to get 35.98, and the initial grade will be transmuted using the given transmutation by BEE-EGE to get the quarterly grade. And that's how we compute the grades manually. But using the e-class record, we can just put the equation in, and it will compute automatically.
So, what exactly are these school forms? SF1 is about the school register, which contains a master list of class enrollment done by the class advisor. It should be done at the beginning of the school year and as needed. Next, we have SF2, or the learner's daily class attendance, which is obviously all about recording attendance, absences, or tardiness, which is done every day. The third is SF3, or the book issued and returned, which is done at the beginning of the school year and as needed. The SF4 is all about enrollment count, transferred in and out, and dropped out by grade level, which is done monthly. Next, we have SF5 and 6, which contain the report on promotion, which is done by the class advisor and school head at the end of the school year. SF7 is about the inventory of school personnel. SF8 is about the per learner assessment of body mass index, and the next is SF9, or the individual academic behavioral and attendance report by quarter, and is done quarterly. Lastly, SF10 In this, we have the individual academic record by quarter and school year, and is scheduled to be done at the end of the school year. So, upon knowing and learning so many things in the school form, we also encounter some questions along with it. The first is, which is easier to do? Manually compute the grade of the students or the use of class record? Why? It is easier to compute the grades of students by using e-class record because it is more efficient and reliable. It reduces the time spent computing the grades.
Second question, is it important to employ a systematic approach in computing the grades of the students? A systematic approach to calculating grades is necessary to ensure equitable grading of students. Because we've noticed that the students are getting very competitive, especially when their marks are bad, and they will protest and wonder why they got that grade. Third question, why is there a need to accomplish the different school forms? School forms are official documents needed to be prepared by the teachers or educators and will be checked by the personnel of the Department of Education to provide a quality school reports and consistency of information about the students. It includes crucial information like students' grades and teachers' evaluations. Fourth question, when are the different school forms need to be accomplished? Based from earlier, there are forms that needed to be accomplished at the beginning and at the end of the school year, and also every day, monthly, and quarterly.
Lastly, what will happen if the school forms are not accomplished on the specified schedule? Failure to complete these school forms on time have a huge impact not only on the instructors, but also on the pupils and the entire school system. If the teacher is unable to report to parents and record their students' performance appropriately, the accuracy and timelines of the school reporting may be affected. If you are the teacher, what approach will you use to systematically compute the grades of your students? Why do you prefer that approach? If I were the teacher, the approach I would use to systematically compute the grades of the students would be the proficiency grading system. The proficiency grading system is a way of calculating the grades of the students in a systematically way. It evaluates the learner's understanding of the topic discussed in the class or their mastery of the essential competencies of the subject. Therefore, stakeholders will be comprehensive and detailed forms about the grades of the students.
Second, which of the different school forms is the easiest to accomplish and why? Out of all the school forms, I find the SF1 school register, which include the master list of the students to be completed during the first week of class, to be the simplest. I thought it was the simplest because all you must do is keep track of and decide how many students you want. Lastly, which of the different school form is the most difficult to accomplish? What will you do to lessen the difficulty encountered in accomplishing this form? Above those school forms, the one that I found challenging or the most challenging to complete is the learner's grade, since careful encoding, fairness, patience are required because this forms the basis of their success throughout the academic year. The ECAS records, which can reduce your job, help you save time, and help organize your work, is what we can use, or what I personally choose to use to complete it in the simplest method possible. This emphasizes the need for a just and proper grading system. Electronics and technology in general are designed to improve the quality and accessibility of our lives.